This new Seedance 2.0 4K update is a game changer for AI filmmaking. Perfect. Let me show you how. Watch until the end. Seedance 2.0 just got one of its biggest upgrades yet. For the first time, you can generate videos in native 4K directly from the model. That means sharper details, cleaner motion, and results that look much closer to real cinematic footage. But here's the question I wanted to answer. Is this actually a huge leap forward, or is it just another AI update with a bigger resolution number? So instead of showing you a few random examples, I'm going to put Seedance 2.0 4K through a series of real-world tests. We'll start with a simple text-to-video generation. Then we'll see how it performs with a tiny, low-quality image. After that, we'll test realistic facial animation, character consistency, voice cloning, realistic footage, and finally, one of the hardest things for any AI model, a fast-paced cinematic action scene.
彼女へのいじめはやめろ。どけよクソ野郎。ヒーロー気取りか? Try me.
By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what Seedance 2.0 4K does well, where it surprised me the most, and whether it's actually worth using. Everything you'll see today was created inside Higgsfield AI. If you'd like to follow along, I'll leave a link in the description below. Let's start with the easiest test. I want to see what Seedance 2.0 4K can create using nothing more than a text prompt. Here we are on the Higgsfield homepage. You can already see Seedance 2.0 4K available right here. If you don't see it on the homepage, simply open the video section and choose Seedance 2.0 4K from the list. Now let's generate our first video. I'll start by pasting in my prompt. If you'd like all of the prompts I'm using throughout this video, let me know in the comments and I'll happily share them with you. Next, select Seedance 2.0 4K as the video model. Then I'll set the duration to 15 seconds. Choose the aspect ratio you want. And finally, make sure the output resolution is set to 4K. Once everything is ready, simply click Generate. It only takes a few minutes before your video is ready. Honestly, this is a really strong start. The camera movement feels incredibly smooth, the macaw flies naturally through the scene, and the transition into the bullet time close-up looks surprisingly cinematic. But what impressed me the most is the level of detail. You can clearly see the texture of every feather on the bird, along with the fine scales on the snake, without the image falling apart. So for a pure text-to-video generation, Seedance 2.0 4K did really well. So now let's make things much more difficult. Instead of starting with a high-quality image, what happens if we give it one that's barely usable? So for this test, I used an image that was only 73 kilobytes. That's a really small file with low quality, which makes it a good way to see how much detail the model can recover. I'll upload the image and then paste in my prompt. Inside the prompt, I specifically mentioned things like 4K Ultra HD HDR, screen test demonstration film, and 8K IMAX documentary quality. I also include instructions for the camera movement, animation, lighting, and audio to give the model a clear direction. Once that's ready, I simply make sure 4K is selected as the output resolution and create the video. Honestly, this came out much better than I expected. Even though the original image was very small, the final video looks incredibly detailed. The movement feels smooth, the lighting stays consistent throughout the scene, and the overall quality looks surprisingly realistic. It's a really good example of how much detail Seedance 2.0 4K can produce, even when the source image isn't ideal. Now let's try something different. I want to see how well the model handles subtle facial animation. For this example, I first created a 4K portrait of a young woman using GPT Image 2. Once the image is ready, I'll simply click Turn to Video. Then I'll choose Create Images from the Image Generation tab and upload the portrait we just created. Now I gave a simple prompt. The camera slowly moves closer to the woman's face. She does not speak, but subtly moves her lips as if she is about to say something. Then I create a video. The result feels incredibly natural. What impressed me the most is how sharp everything stays throughout the entire clip. The skin texture remains detailed, the facial features stay consistent, and I don't notice any distracting flickering or visual artifact. Instead of looking like a typical AI animation, it feels much closer to footage captured with a real camera. But here's where most AI video models usually start to struggle. The real challenge is keeping the same character consistent while making them speak naturally with the same voice throughout the scene. So that's exactly what I wanted to test next. For this example, I recreated one of those viral videos you've probably seen all over social media. The first thing I did was create a character sheet of myself and upload it into Higgsfield AI. Using a character reference like this gives the model a clear understanding of exactly how the character should look, which helps keep the appearance consistent from beginning to end. But I also wanted to test another feature that I think is incredibly useful. Instead of using a randomly generated AI voice, Higgsfield lets you upload your own audio file. So I simply recorded the dialogue myself, uploaded the audio, and told the model exactly where I wanted it to be used. Seedance 2.0 then cloned my voice directly from that recording. This is especially useful if you're creating YouTube videos, short films, or any kind of series where you want the same voice across multiple videos without having to record everything again each time. Once the character reference and audio were ready, I kept the rest of the settings the same and generated the video. This new Seedance 2.0 4K update is a game changer for AI filmmaking. Perfect. Let me show you how. Watch until the end. Honestly, this is probably my favorite example so far. The character stays consistent throughout the entire scene without noticeable changes to the face. The facial expressions feel natural, and the lip sync matches the dialogue really well. But what impressed me the most is the voice. Because the model is using my uploaded recording as the reference, it keeps the same tone and personality instead of generating a completely different voice. That makes the entire scene feel much more believable and much more personal. Overall, this is easily one of the most cinematic videos I've created with Seedance 2.0 4K. Now let me show you another example. This time, I wanted to create something that looks like real footage instead of a stylized cinematic scene. Here's the video. As you can see, the result is incredibly realistic. The lighting feels natural, the camera movement looks like it was captured by a real camera operator, and the overall scene has very few visible AI artifacts. That's one of the biggest improvements I've noticed with Seedance 2.0 4K. It doesn't just generate sharper videos, it also produces more believable motion, making the final result feel much more lifelike. But realistic scenes are one thing. Fast-paced action is a completely different challenge. So for the final test, I created this fighting scene using the exact same workflow. Let's take a look.
彼女へのいじめはやめろ。どけよクソ野郎。ヒーロー気取りか？ Try me.
Even with all the fast movement happening on screen, the animation stays smooth and consistent. The camera follows the action naturally, the character movements feel believable, and the overall pacing feels much closer to a professional action sequence than a typical AI-generated clip. That's something many AI video models still struggle with, especially during complex action scenes. So it's great to see Seedance 2.0 4K handling it this well. Overall, after testing, I can honestly say this is one of the biggest upgrades Seedance has released so far. The jump to native 4K isn't just about higher resolution. It's about getting cleaner details, more natural motion, better consistency, and videos that need far less fixing after they're generated. If you're creating AI films, commercials, social media content, or YouTube videos, this upgrade can save you a lot of time while producing much more polished results. If you'd like to try Seedance 2.0 4K yourself, you can find the Higgsfield link in the description below. And if you'd like me to share the prompts I used throughout this video, like the video and let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.